Hi there, welcome to our channel. I'm Vic.
I'm Nick.
And we are Envy Board Gaming, and today we're looking at Guildmaster. This is a 2 to 4 player game designed by Chris Anthony and published by Good Games Publishing. Nick is going to go through how you play, and then we're going to give our review.
Let's go. Alrighty, set up here for a 2-player game of Guildmaster. I'm going to give a brief overview. First, I'm going to go a little bit over setup. I'm not going to cover everything on setup. I'm not going to cover everything on gameplay because it is a big spanning game. I just want to give you a feel of how it plays. So we're going to have our 4 novices based on a symbol here. It'll do a pairing in the rule book. So I have a symbol there. I'm going to get that novice. I'm going to get that power, that arcane power to match. My opponent is going to have the spirit, so I know they're going to have the spirit power. These are double-sided, so you can pick which power you want. You can have a reroll, 2 rerolls, or you can have one that automatically you can change a die to a 5. I'll go with that one. We're going to have this player board here, what we have in stables, how many orders I can do. You can see we can do up to 4, but to start the game, we can only do 2 orders around. We can put 2 adventurers from our guild on each order, up to 2, and we're going to have an income of 2 to start every round. We'll get that at the end of the round. We're also going to have some orders here of where we want to do these actions. So we're going to go over that in a minute. We're going to have 7 coins that we start with. 3 of these private objectives. You can keep 2 of them in your hand, and 1 of them is going to go to the board over here for contracts. We're just going to say we did that. I set up wrong over here, but that's okay. Because these 2 are supposed to be open. These 2 right here with this little, almost looks like an asterisk, this little star looking thing. Those start at 1 and 2 spot no matter what your player count is. And then these 2 are the ones that the other players do not want. They put it face down and they reveal it at the end of setup. Since it's a 2-player game, we have some areas that are blocked off. I just use this token of an unused player and go ahead and say, we are not using these 2 actions. These 2 spots, I should say, and we're not using this spot either, the C area. Everything else looks normal. We're going to set the cost in a 2-player game up 1 level on the build action, and we're going to have the half moon over here at round 1 to keep track. Note that there's also a variant. If you don't want to spend as long with this game, you can just play 6 rounds too. It's an official variant in the rulebook. Full game is 9 rounds. So what are we doing? Let's get you a feel of what we're doing. Well, in the first round, we're not doing every single thing. We're actually going straight to the plot, or not the plot. We're going to go straight to the action phase, or the order, then the action. Let's do that. I'm not going to hang this up, but it does give you, it is handy because I'm going to go ahead and skip start round. I'm going to skip the plot because we have no plots to resolve, and I am going to go straight to the order. So the order and the action are the crux of the game. Orders, you're going to have a shield up. So like I said, I'm not going to put this shield up because I don't want to hide from you guys. So the shield would go up, and we would now have 2 spots that we can do orders in. First, you're going to select a action you'd like to do. And again, these cards all correlate with actions on the board. You notice I took away the actions that are blocked off. So I don't have a C action here because that action is actually blocked off on the board. I am going to secretly select what action I would like to do. So if I want to do a build action, I would put a build there. And if I would like to recruit, let's say I want to recruit this lady right here. She is at action A. I might not have enough money to do that, so I'm not going to recruit her. Instead, let's go over here to the contracts. These are all numbered. So this one, you notice I have the arcane symbol, so this one will be very beneficial to me. I'm going to go ahead and do action number 3. So I put action 3 on order 2. And then I select the adventurers of my guild that I would like to send to this. They have attributes, and you see this one has the arcane attribute. This number here shows how many dice I can roll for that attribute to achieve that contract. So I'm going to go ahead and put them right here. If I were to owe money or anything that goes along with that, I would put it there, but I do not because it's just going to a contract. Here, however, in this build action, I am going to owe money. So, it doesn't really matter right now which one I put there, so I'm going to go ahead and put 1 person there. I can put up to 2 because of my mess hall. And this says I'm going to build. Now I have to put money there, and I will get the money back. So not that important in the early stages right here. I can go ahead and put 7. That is for this countdown right here. I'm gonna pay, if I want to do 2 builds, which are these symbols right here, these hammers. If I were to do that, it would cost me 6. Then I'd move it up, and my opponent, it would cost more. So once we have everything set on the board, which I am set, I want to do a build action, and then I want to do my number 3 contract. We would reveal what's going to happen. And at that point, we would see what everyone picked. The very first action that resolves is always build. So it's going to go along the board kind of intuitively. It's going to look at builds first. Then it's going to look at A through F and do all those. And then it's going to look at 1 through 4 in this case. Those are the actions it's going to resolve first. So if my opponent doesn't have the build action, I know I'm first to go. Let's hope they don't. And I will go ahead and do a build action. I'll spend, let's say, 6. So I will get 1 back and lose 6 coins. And now I've earned 2 hammers. So 1, 2. With that, I can buy a variety of things. I can improve. This would only cost 1 hammer, but for example, if I were to take that, I can then get better with this spirit attribute when I roll dice. I could improve my stables. That will allow me 3 actions instead of 2. They're called orders in this game. 2 hammers to spend, and I can go ahead and increase my income, do it from 2 to 4 every round. Or this one will cost me 1, so I probably wouldn't do that. I'm going to spend 6 to do one of these. So let's say I want 3 actions for the rest of the game. I would do that. I would get 3 victory points immediately. And I'd put this on my stables. Now it's a stables 2. So I'll go ahead and move up my 3. I got rid of my 6 for those 2 hammers. And that action is done. Then I go to my opponents and they do their action. And it comes back and we'll see if I'm next or they're next. Let's just say I'm next so I can explain this. I'm going to do a contract number 3. I get to roll 3 dice to try to achieve that. Well, chances are I'm going to win. I'm going to roll 3 dice just to get a 7. Odds are I'm going to win. I might not, but... And then they might have an ability. So, when this adventurer completes a contract alone, game 2, well, I put him alone to do this contract. So as long as I roll a 7 or better, I will get the bonus. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just now. I'll grab 3 dice just to run through. I did pass. I have 13. So I killed that. I get 2 gold. I get 2 more gold, so 4 gold, 2 victory points, and then I have a bonus. Roll 1 dice and place the die on this card. No problem. 1 die, place it on the card. Yuck. Well, I keep that there. And I may discard this contract to add its die to activate a +1, essentially, a skill check. Add 1 of those dice to a skill check of an arcane value. I probably wouldn't do that because I'd rather have this card maybe. Unless I really needed to. But I get this card, and it sits over here with a number 1 on it. And I get the VP and the coins that I mentioned. Over here, you can recruit people. They'll give you victory points, and they're just added to your deck. They have actions that trigger. Some of them are on a plot phase, which I'll go over in a second. Some of them happen during the game, like I just showed you with this one that happened during the game. And these just go back. I mean, you always have a full hand of cards in your arsenal. You don't draw 5. No, you play everything. So on a plot phase at the beginning of the round, so we're going to backtrack to the beginning of the round because it did not apply in the first round. If I had cards that said plot phase like this, I can go ahead and do that. I just show that card and then go ahead and perform that action. Or plot phase that it's a specific season, so this is, or a specific time of day, so the half moon, you will go ahead and do that on a half moon, and this thing flips. So after every round, this is going to flip and go down. So full moon does different things. If you have cards for full moons, like this one that I have, where I take a gold from the treasury of another guild, that will happen at a plot phase. So you're just going to do all of that, and you're going to keep on going until, if you go 6 rounds or 9 rounds, your choice. There's also a blood moon that triggers different things as far as replenishing this will change, and drawing a private contract happens in a blood phase. I'm not going to go over all the rules, but you are going to go ahead and recruit these people. You can recruit, these are adepts. You can recruit them with novice cards, which you start with. You can recruit the heroes with the adepts. You can recruit the legendary with the heroes. You can see they're very much powerful. The legends are very powerful. The heroes are pretty powerful as well, but the legends are where it's at. They'll give you 5 victory points as well as being very powerful. At the end of the game, you're going to look at all the points you have, and you're going to add a few more points based on maybe if you built some of these. So there's different buildings out here. This is the Architect's Lodge, for instance, that gives you different as far as victory points. Adds more victory points to your total. You can only have one of these though, and they do cost builds to do that. You're going to add those up. Your one that you selected, if you selected any, and you're also going to go ahead. Every 5 coins gets you 1 more point. Whoever has the most points is going to win.
All right, and we are back for our review of Guildmaster. This game was provided to us as a review copy by Good Games Publishing. So we were given this game to review by the company. We have played it at 2 players, and we have also played it at 4 players. So we've given it a few times. We played it more at 2 than 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We played it. Yeah, we only played it once at 4.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the game, first of all, when you look at it on the table, it's, your fantasy-themed game.
Mm-hmm.
I think looking at some of the art is pretty standard for what you'd expect. There's quests, and the board, it does take up a lot of table space. Yeah. So like right away you can see that it's quite the occupier of space there. And everybody has a lot of different boards. There's your guild upgrades board, then you've got your orders board, and you've got your shield that you can deploy, which got a whole overview, which is really great. If you know me, you know I really like reference sheets, and this game gives a good idea of what's going on right in front of you, so you're never really unsure of how you're going to play each action during the action phase when you make your choices. The game starts off, it sort of ramps up as you're playing because people start to get more order accommodations with the stables. So the rounds will start off pretty quick, and then they can get a little long towards the end when people are really trying to maximize the efficiency of how they're going to play out the characters that they've recruited and how they're going to complete quests or whatever they're going to go about doing. I like the quality of the components. I think it's okay. It's fair. The cards are a little thin. The tiles are good. They're the thicker cardboard. But, nothing too crazy. What do you think with the components?
Well, let's see. I would say, let me see these cards. I think these cards are okay.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, they're fine. They're not bad. They're not bad. They're not great. I think they're middle of the road right there. Yeah, I agree. Cardboard is good. This kind of cardboard is real good. Player mats are okay. I like the graphic design of this game, actually. I was going to say that. I actually do like the layout of the different their powers and all that, and what they do and all that. I think the graphic design is actually really nice. It's clean.
Yeah, and right away it's not a lot of ambiguity or symbology so much. Like there is some symbols, but it's not a very symbol heavy game. So if that puts you off, I don't think it's really written out pretty well on each card. This is what you're doing. This is when you're doing it. It even says right below what the phase is, so you don't have to remember, oh boy, what's that phase? And there are different phases in this game, which makes it very interesting. Because it's not just playing things out every time you go. No, you have to consider what the moon is. Is it a full moon or a half moon or a blood moon or both? Or what? And when are you doing that action? During the action phase, like your card will tell you when you can play it. So my reception of it all together was immediately, I was a little overwhelmed. I thought, oh no, look at all this stuff we have going on, and this seems really heavy, especially with 4 players, but we were able to teach it and pick up on it pretty quick for the meat of the game. I felt like there wasn't a lot of confusion or people really making mistakes. What do you think?
I thought, our very first play of this game was actually at 4. We learned it on the fly.
Yeah.
So it was bumpy. We had to reference that rule book a lot in our very first game. Sure, once you catch on to it, I feel like this game would play really quick. It would reward you if you played it in sequence fairly in a close span, but if you let it sit for a little bit, you're gonna have to relearn a few things that are a little fiddly here and there. But I can see where they're going, because I noticed on the time it says 60 to 120 minutes. That isn't accurate if you don't play it know it really, really well. Because that 60-minute mark, I'm not sure how you're gonna do that unless you know the game back of your hand, both players shooting everything, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
If you reference the rules here and there, that's not going to be a 60-minute game anymore. That's going to be maybe a 2-hour game, and maybe even more. If it's at 4 and you guys are, man, I don't remember how many hours that took. But you can't really account for that, I guess. I mean, you're not going to write 4 hours on the box if it's a caveat that players are learning the
Scare
game
people
all at
off.
the same time. Because
Yeah.
our very first play, we're all learning at the same time, and it took quite a while.
Yeah. But one thing I will also add is that in the game, the replayability I felt was strong in it. And so for that reason, like, you're encountering things, but they're not too different. So you have a chance to, nothing is going to throw you off that you're going to encounter and go, oh no, what's this now? Like, pretty much everything is coming out. It's repeats of the same. Okay, you can do this on your action phase. You can spend this from your treasury. Like, things are written out pretty well that once you said, like, as you said, once you get going, I think that even though you're encountering different cards, different things coming up, different characters, different quests, contracts, you're not taking it for a loop. I don't think there's anything that's like show-stopping to stop you from continuing.
I'm going to go over a few things that I like about the game.
Yeah.
How about that? So, I like that the consideration for victory points, there isn't just one path. I don't have to just do contracts the whole game. It looks very enticing. It does pay off. But honestly, getting cards over here at the adventure table where you can pick people from your hand, those give you 3, 4, or 5 points per person you get.
Yeah.
There's also objective that you could, if you really want to, and you really want to stock up on adventurers, you can get a victory point on top of all that for each one you get. That's an option. There's different ways to go. You can go money heavy and get 5 victory points for all the money. You
Yeah.
can go all these different ways with this game. You can, I don't know. There is. I feel like I agree with Vic. The replayability is there because you can do different things every time you play. You can really deck build. Not really deck build because you're not. You kind of are deck building.
Yeah, because you have a chance to ditch a novice, and then you can discard a novice so that you get better people in your deck. There's no limit of people, but there's ways to sort of, you're adding people based on what their action phase abilities are, plot phase, when those phases are taking place, some of the action, the abilities that they have, or even to get the adept so you can get the hero, right?
Yep. So there's a lot of things
Yeah.
as far as the deck builds going on. There's a lot of things as far as, it reminds me of Eldritch Horror in a way where you're doing those skill checks, games like that. If you don't like games with skill checks, you're not going to like a good portion of this game because all contracts are skill checks. Yeah, you can really solidify your odds by getting a lot of the symbols you need, but you're still doing a skill check every single time you do a contract, which is a good portion of the game. You are then doing something I really like, which is a reveal phase. It is a reveal phase of something like a game like Dungeon Pets. But I like the reveal phase, and there's so much more because there's so much more consequences. In Dungeon Pets, you're just revealing how many people you're putting out. In this, you're revealing the actions you're doing, how much you're spending, what's your opponent doing, can I go first, can I get this at a better price, can you not do this at all, now you're left wandering? There's an intensity there that I really do appreciate. So that is the strongest thing I can say about this game, is that reveal phase. What do they have?
The tension, yeah.
Yeah, the tension of that. What do they have? What are they doing? Good, I get to do my plans. And then playing out your actions. Even planning the actions is gratifying. It's fun to go ahead and look at what cards you want it to do, what actions you want, and who you're going to deploy. Sometimes it doesn't matter who you deploy. Other times it really does matter who you deploy. And overall, there is a lot to like about the game. Do you have negatives, or do you have more positives that you want to touch on before you get to any negatives?
Yeah, so positives, I really like dice rolling. I always like dice rolling, so it's fun to be able to do those skill checks, roll dice. There's some mitigating things you can do, but not too much that makes it too easy. Like, it is a challenging game, and you know what? For all the whining I do when I don't win a contract, if I don't complete a skill check successfully, I still kind of like that there's that chance you're not going to succeed, and maybe that makes you more inclined to get a character that helps you mitigate that says, oh, even if you don't make it, or you didn't successfully recruit, or you still have a way around it. So it incentivizes you to sort of pick up those characters that'll help you overcome some of those challenges. And I don't mind the challenge of it. I like that. I would rather that than just easy, don't even have to roll a dice, no question, I'm going to win this. And Nick, I'll often ask him what the probability is of me winning this, but the back of the rule book actually has it all spelled out for you. So if you're not a math whiz, or you're not high on probability, you don't know a lot about that or what that's going to mean for you, you don't want to do math on the fly, you got a whole chart there that'll help you determine what your odds are of winning something. And there's been times I deployed stuff and I had no chance. So that's, you take what you will with that, with what I said there. But yeah, so positives. I had a lot of fun with it, and it didn't seem to drag, and you're actually interested in turns that aren't yours, because there's things that can affect you. Somebody can do a contract that there's a bonus or a boon, something going on that's going to hit you. Usually it's not too bad, but some stuff can be. So you are actually paying attention to what other people are doing, because were they successful in that contract? Maybe you guys bidded the same thing, and you're going later, and you're hoping they don't make it so you can get a shot at it. There's even that there's different things you can build out. So if you choose to go there's only so many level 3s of the income, the mess hall, and the stables.
One.
So when there's only one. So when someone takes the stables, now you know you're never getting 4 order. You're never going to be able to do that unless otherwise you have some other ability. So it'll direct you around to different ways that you want to go. And I just it's never a dull moment, I find, with this game. I'm never bored playing it. So that's positive, I would say.
Okay.
Had fun with it. Pretty. I think it's nice. And Nick, I agree with him. The graphic design is really nice. Negatives. Did you want to start with anything?
Yeah, I'll give one more positive that occurred to me that I didn't mention. Mm-hmm. That as the game progresses, you actually feel like you're different than your opponent. You feel like I'm doing more orders. I have more income, or they have more income. They're putting out more people to have more like adventurers in their area to do better on their contracts. Mm-hmm. There are things that make you feel a little unique. I can roll better with the arcanes than Vic can. She can roll better in spirits than I can.
Yeah.
I'm going for this objective. She's going for that objective. Great. I like that. I like going for our own things too. Feeling a little unique. It's not over the top unique. You don't have crazy special abilities, but you do feel unique. You have things going differently than your opponent.
Yeah.
And like Vic said, when you get all the way to your max level at the bar or at the mess hall or the stable, no one else can do that. You took the only one that was available to you, all the players. You took the level 4 that gave you, now you have 4 orders, no one else is getting 4 orders. You're the only one. So, yeah, different directions you can go. Very cool. Negatives, I do feel like if you were, in my example where your first game is 4-player game, you're learning the game, I am telling you, you might want to consider doing the variant, that's an official variant, of 6 rounds. This game, unless you have a lot of time, that's fine. And you might want to mention it, hopefully people that you're at your table.
Make sure everyone's well fed, everyone has drinks.
Or just, make sure maybe you have like a relaxed group where if you do want to play 9, and it won't be like, oh, you want to play 9 because you're not winning. No, I'm enjoying the game. It's going fair enough. I want to play 9 instead of the 6 or whatever. Make up your mind at that point. Maybe at round 4, if you're saying, oh, we want to do 6 or 9. How fast of a click is this moving? It's going to actually take longer as the rounds go deeper because people get more actions. Once you start
more cards, more things to do.
Yeah, once you get all these stables unlocked and you are now getting 3 to 4 orders a turn, this game will progress and get longer as it plays. So you might want to consider doing a shorter game unless you have a lot of time. So there's that can be a neutral. I'm not calling it a negative. I'm calling it a neutral.
Neutral, okay.
A negative, I had a big one, and that one is something I didn't cover in the rules overview, and that is when you have to cooperate or you're trying to negotiate. There's this little part where if you match up doing the contracts at the right side of the board.
On the same order phase.
Yes, if you are doing the same action and they're both contracts at the same time, now you have to decide if you want to cooperate or not. Mm-hmm. And there's something about it I don't really like. You're talking like, okay, this is how we're going to split it up and so forth. And then if we cooperate, we're going to split the coins. And you can do the bottom, I'll keep the card or whatever. There's that discussion. And then you have a thumbs up or a thumbs down type of thing where you just show, do you agree to it or not? And at that point, you can see. Even me explaining it, it's like this is too much. Like this is too much. If you agree, then you go ahead and do your thing that you agreed on. If you didn't agree, then it's like okay, the person that didn't agree gets to go ahead and try it.
They take a little hit.
And they can get it. And the other person can wander. If this is too much. This needs to be streamlined. This isn't. I don't know. It's not clean. There's a dead pause. Oh no, we matched. Now we gotta do all this stuff, and it's like roll your eyes. You could probably, and this is, I don't know if the designer would care for me to say this, you can probably house rule that out. You can probably just say, you know what, you cooperate. Or you know what, to come up with a different solution, because that kind of I'm considering house ruling myself. I don't really care for it.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking it should be something of whoever has the higher value of skill.
Whoever has high value skill, or
Like
roll it.
something, or
If you like the luck
out.
aspect of
Yeah.
Eldritch Horror games like that, you can roll it out and see who has the higher one. Okay, you get first chance at doing this, or
Yeah.
and the other person has to wander. Sorry.
Yeah, the cooperation I don't quite get. That I agree as well. I wouldn't so far like call it such a negative, because I hadn't really had a lot of encounters like that where I was involved. I know you and Tim, when we were playing 4, you had quite a few, and he always.
He turned on me the first time. I turned on him the second time.
Okay. I didn't know if he was always there. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is quite funny to see the banter as an outsider if you're not involved in it. It's kind of an entertaining thing on the flip side.
Yeah, even though I felt like it was a foregone conclusion. Like, okay, he's going to turn on me, and he knows I'm going to turn on him at this point.
Yeah. So I guess that could be definitely something that could be considered negative. For me, the not being able to complete a quest, that stings, but I did consider it to be positive, because I'd rather something be more challenging. What do you think about that?
It's hit or miss.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a lot to mitigate, because I don't have those abilities. Like, not all these abilities come out. Only 2 of them do in a 2-player game, and I can only mitigate one thing, maybe 2 if I have both. Other than that, it's at the luck of, I'm a mercy of a draw.
Yeah.
There was times where I had 5 dice and only needed 10, and I didn't get it, because I get a bunch of 1s, and there's nothing you can do about that. And it's just like, man, I was setting myself up perfectly, just things didn't work out. If you don't mind that, then that's okay. It's a neutral for me, slightly negative, but I would lean more neutral than negative on that.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I think also the tightness of the money, like allocating it to something and ending up spending way too much, is so. It's not negative. I think that makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Because you're bidding. There's a whole bid thing where you're trying to see who has more money, and then building. Oh my gosh, if he goes first and I didn't put enough money in, I'm not building anything.
Yeah, you can wander, though.
Now
Wander's a positive of this game. You can wander. You still have something you can do.
Wandering is not terrible. And then worst case, if you can't do any quest, you can roll dice and see what kind of money you can get. And one time I cleaned up. I got like the best interval of awards, because I just rolled like all 6s, and it was exciting.
One correction. Wandering is not what I'm referring to, because you have a choice to wander or do a private.
Contract.
So the private contract's what I'm saying. It's a plus. I have an option now that Vic took an action that I have later on in my orders. Then now my guy can go ahead and I flip his card, and I'm going to go ahead and try to do a private, one of the private ones I've set aside instead of one that I was going to do. That is a great option, so you're not really screwed over or whatever.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah, and it's nice that you do get those common contracts at every blood moon. You do get those, so there's never going to be a time that you're like, ugh, there's nothing I can do. There's always something you can do. You can always find something to do in this, and that's why I found the game to be really entertaining, and my overall score for this game was an 8.5. I really thought this game was very strong and underrated. You don't hear a lot about this game.
No.
There's not a lot of buzz, and I think it's a hidden gem in a way. I think it needs more attention, because there's really a lot to it. And, if you don't like the theme, whatever, you don't even have to be involved in the theme, because it's just got something for everybody, I think.
Yeah, I think the reveal of this, doing all your actions, really carries the game. It outweighs a lot of negatives. So I do recommend this game. I think this is a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a positive score too. Not quite as high as Vic, but I'm going to go ahead and give it an even 8. So it's a recommend for both of us.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of different things here that really carry this game to make it into something that you should play. It stands out because it does combine a lot of different things. Once you're used to all of the things clicking, you're going to have fun with it.
Yeah, and everybody will go pretty quickly. I mean, as the rounds do get a little meatier, it's not so much analysis paralysis as it's just trying to get everything just right and in the right order. And, what are they looking? Because everybody says how much money they have, so it's like, oh, you've got 10. Oh, they're going to build for sure. Or, you know what I mean? You have to think, oh, the recruit, it's cheaper. That's another thing I want to say. It's kind of cool how, like, depending on the moon phase, the characters cost different money. Mm-hmm. So you could be like, oh, I'll just overpay so I can for sure get this guy. Or you can try to chance it out when it's cheaper and see if someone else is going to do that. The player interaction is enough without being, like, there's some mean take that. I forgot to mention that too. That can make you upset, but it's not crippling, like something that's really going to, like, you skip a turn, you don't get to play. No, you lose a A fame. Oh, okay.
The fame or coin.
Yeah,
or
or something, whatever. It's not that bad.
Nah.
So overall, I highly recommend it. I think that people who are new to the hobby could get into this on a more advanced level. So they'd have to start off maybe with a deck builder or start off with something where they're rolling skill
This is not
checks.
yeah.
But I don't think this is an introductory game.
No.
But I think that at an advanced level, if you want to step it up, if you want to a step above certain games that you're playing, like where you're doing skill checks, or even where you're doing different revealing or bidding, auctioning, I think that you can take this then and run with it after that. But I wouldn't start with this. I certainly wouldn't, because like I said, when I first got busted out, a little intimidating with all the boards and things and places to go. It can be a bit much.
A fair amount of setup in the game, and yeah, it's going to take you some time. Just hang with it. I think it is going to reward you in the end, and it will be probably one that most people, once they play it, will add to their collection.
Yeah, I think so. Well, that's our review of Guildmaster. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to our channel for more great videos. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.